From states busing immigrants to other parts of the United States to others penalizing businesses that hire immigrants, some states really don't want immigrants residing there. While a number of states across the United States are embracing inclusivity and establishing themselves as sanctuary states to protect immigrants and provide safe havens for those seeking refuge, there are still a handful of states that seem to have the opposite approach to immigrants seeking refuge. Today on Across the Globe, we'll be looking at states where immigrants are not allowed. Number 1. South Carolina. South Carolina, the land where history breathes as heavily as a summer afternoon and where sweet tea flows as freely as the tales of its storied past. Founded in 1663, the state has a heritage rich enough to make a historian giddy. Think Revolutionary War battles, sumptuous plantations, and a dash of civil rights struggles, all wrapped up in a bow made of palmetto leaves. Fast forward to today, and South Carolina is a delightful blend of the old and new, where you can enjoy shrimp and grits while pondering how a place that once fought for secession is now home to countless festivals celebrating everything from bluegrass to barbecue. However, in recent years, South Carolina's anti-sanctuary stance has made headlines. South Carolina's views on immigration showcase the state's vigorous approach to immigration enforcement with a flair that might leave even the most seasoned political pundit raising an eyebrow or at least cracking a smile. According to American Immigration Council, 5% of South Carolina residents are immigrants, and roughly 5% of residents are native-born U.S. citizens with at least one immigrant parent. While South Carolina hasn't banned immigration, the state has taken steps to make it much more difficult for those seeking to come into the state illegally. In 2011, South Carolina's anti-immigrant law, SB 20, was passed. The law had several provisions, including criminalizing everyday interactions with undocumented people, prohibiting people who were unlawfully present in the United States from attending public higher education, and granting police the power to demand papers from drivers during traffic stops if they had reasonable suspicion that the driver was not legally present. However, in 2013, a civil rights coalition challenged the law, reaching a settlement with the state that permanently blocked key provisions. Number 2. Arkansas. Arkansas, the natural state where the mountains meet the rivers and the soul meets some good old southern hospitality. Founded in 1836, this dazzling land of Ozarks and chicken-fried everything has had quite the history, from being a stopping point on the Trail of Tears to showcasing sparkling gems like the crystal-clear waters of hot springs. Jump to recent times, and Arkansas has made headlines not just for its beautiful landscapes and Bill Clinton, but also as a state garnering a reputation for being a bit less than friendly toward immigrants. In 2019, Governor Asa Hutchinson took a bold stand, eager to sign legislation cutting off funding to sanctuary cities, declaring he would promote a cooperative spirit with federal immigration authorities. This move certainly stirred the pot, leading to grumbling among Republicans who feared the measure might roll out the welcome mat for a side of racial profiling. In 2023, there were approximately 162,000 immigrants in Arkansas, which is about 5.3% of the state's population. However, compared to the estimation of over 3 million immigrants residing in Los Angeles, Arkansas may have successfully deterred many illegal immigrants with its stringent approach to immigration. In August 2024, Arkansas was one of 16 states that filed a suit in federal court to block the Biden administration's program that protects long-term undocumented people. Number 3. Tennessee. Tennessee, the volunteer state that strummed its way through history on the strings of a banjo, while moonshine flows like the mighty Tennessee River. Established right around 1796, Tennessee has had a flair for the dramatic since its birth, giving us everything from the Trail of Tears to Elvis Presley in Memphis. Fast forward a couple of centuries, and Tennessee decided to throw a little legislative curveball. In July 2024, the state came out swinging with SB 2576, a law that requires, rather than authorizes, local law enforcement to check in on folks' immigration status. Not quite the warm welcome most newcomers are hoping for when they arrive in the land of Dolly Parton and the Great Smoky Mountains. Despite this law, problems with illegal immigration still persist. According to UCB Journal, the average cost to Tennesseans is $4,456 per illegal alien in the state. They noted that taxpayers are supporting education to the tune of $571 million, police, legal, and corrections totaling $175.6 million, along with healthcare, public assistance, and general government services expenses. They added that in 2023, the total taxpayer cost for the illegal immigration issue was $364 per household and $971.3 million in total. Number 4. Idaho. Idaho, the land of potatoes and breathtaking landscapes, has quite the history, though most people outside the state might only know it for its spudtastic reputation. Established as a territory in 1863 during the gold rush frenzy, Idaho has a knack for attracting people hoping to strike it rich, from miners to people simply seeking a quiet life. Proceed to March 2024, when the Idaho House of Representatives decided to stir the pot by passing a bill in a 53-15 vote that effectively gives local law enforcement the green light to detain undocumented immigrants. It appears the Gem State has its own way of making sure folks know who truly belongs in the state, and let's just say it's not by serving up mashed potatoes and a side of hospitality. In July 2024, the city of Eagle, Idaho, kept this anti-sanctuary image propelling into the media when the city council declared Eagle a non-sanctuary city, banning the use of taxpayer funds for services to immigrants. Number 5. Alabama. Alabama, the heart of Dixie, has quite the history that could fill a novel, or at least a lively evening around a campfire. Since its statehood in 1819, Alabama has been a backdrop for everything from the Montgomery bus boycott to some legendary college football rivalries that could rival any Shakespearean drama. With its beautiful landscape and rich cultural heritage, you might expect a laid-back vibe, but Alabama definitely knows how to keep things interesting on the legislative front. In a bold move that left sanctuary cities feeling less than welcome, Alabama decided to ban them outright, rolling out a bill that restricts counties and municipalities from adopting any sanctuary policies. While this bill has caused controversy and some concerns, it seems their stringent approach is working. According to Alabama Reflector, Alabama has far lower rates of immigration than the country as a whole. They stated that, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, only 3.8% of Alabama's population is foreign-born, compared to 14% for the United States. Number 6. Florida. Florida, the Sunshine State, where the oranges are juicy, the beaches are sandy, and the local news sometimes seems like a reality show. Historically, this vibrant state has danced through time from its colorful Native American heritage to its status as a Spanish colony before finally becoming a U.S. state in 1845. Fast forward to recent years, and Florida has proudly donned a new hat as an anti-sanctuary state, passing a slew of immigration laws. On July 1, 2024, Florida's stringent immigration law, also known as SB 1718, was signed by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. The law imposed restrictions and penalties meant to deter the employment of undocumented workers in the state, making it a felony to knowingly and willfully transport an undocumented immigrant into Florida. However, in May 2024, this law was blocked by a Florida judge, according to the New York Times. However, Florida has more tricks up its sleeve. In 2019, the state banned 11 sanctuary cities in total. A challenge was brought forward in court. However, the case was tossed out, meaning these 11 cities are still banned from becoming sanctuary cities. Another string to Florida's bow in the fight of illegal immigration is the decision to no longer recognize driver's licenses issued to undocumented immigrants from other states. But it doesn't stop there. In January 2024, CBS News reported that immigration laws now impose penalties on Florida businesses that hire undocumented immigrants. NPR stated that as a result, Many local Florida businesses say the law has led to workers leaving the state, therefore hurting their bottom line. Number 7. Texas. Texas, home of barbecue, bluebonnets, and enough cowboy hats to stock a Western film. This sprawling state has a rich history that reads like an epic saga, from its days as an independent republic in the 1830s to its eventual annexation by the United States in 1845. Texans are fiercely proud of their roots, with tales of heroic battles and larger-than-life figures filling the air like the scent of sizzling brisket. However, beneath the wide-open skies and vibrant culture, Texas has grappled with a serious issue: illegal immigration. It's a curious paradox, really, how a state known for its high influx of immigrants doesn't quite fit the sanctuary state mold. In 2017, that sentiment became crystal clear with the signing of Senate Bill 4, a controversial law aimed at combating sanctuary cities across the Lone Star State. As well as banning sanctuary cities, Texas has adopted a rather cheeky strategy that helps them rid their state of immigrants. The only problem is it requires placing the burden on other states. As reported by The Guardian, Texas Governor Greg Abbott began busing asylum seekers to cities in other states in 2022, in a move many saw as politically motivated. By January 2024, Abbott claimed he had sent 100,000 people to various Democratic-run cities, including 37,100 people to New York City and 30,800 to Chicago. Number 8. West Virginia. West Virginia, the mountain state where the air is crisp, the hills are alive with the sound of bluegrass, and you might just find a hidden gem of a hiking trail around every corner. With a history steeped in coal mining, the state is known for its breathtaking landscape and warm-hearted folks who could charm even the most modern-day hermit out of their cave. But don't let the picturesque scenery fool you. West Virginia has a serious side too. In 2022, the state took a definitive stance on immigration by passing a bill that allows enforcement of immigration laws and puts the kibosh on sanctuary cities. This means that when a city, town, municipality, or county discovers undocumented immigrants in their neck of the woods, they're now obligated to give a shout-out to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. What's more, in January 2024, WBOY reported that West Virginia is potentially gearing up to join Texas in the controversial strategy of sending migrants who've been processed and released into the country by the United States government to sanctuary cities across the U.S. Number 9. Iowa. Iowa, the land of rolling cornfields, friendly folks, and the seemingly never-ending quest for the perfect ear of sweet corn. Historically, Iowa has been a bellwether state, particularly famous for its role in presidential primaries and its agricultural backbone. But just as you can't judge a corn cob by its husk, Iowa's political landscape is more layered than it might initially appear. In recent years, Iowa joined the ranks of states banning sanctuary cities, raising quite the ruckus among its residents. Supporters of this measure often tout it as a way to protect home turf, arguing that enforcing immigration laws ensures safety and order in their communities. In January 2024, PBS reported that Iowa caucuses see immigration as more important than the economy, and the vast majority, about 3/4, say immigrants are a negative for the country. On the flip side, some residents feel that such measures might cast a shadow on the welcoming spirit Iowans pride themselves on, worrying that it pulls the state further away from its long-held values of inclusivity and support for all residents. The effects of this legislation continue to ripple through the state, creating lively debates over what it truly means to be a good neighbor in the heartland of America. Yet, the state is still attempting to implement more measures to fight immigration. In September 2024, attorneys for Iowa asked a federal appellate court to reinstate a law that would allow state judges to order people in the United States illegally be deported to their country of origin, as reported by the Des Moines Register. Despite their efforts, the law was blocked. How about how Venezuelan migrants broke a city?